Okay, hello. How's it going? And as you can see, this is going to be one of the first times I've done something like this, but I think it'll be very interesting just also to do it like, um, fully on screen. But the point is, it's basically the games of Halo, right? The point I want to make is to go on this whiteboard, right? And maybe just show a few things, right? I haven't been playing too much, but I could, if I really wanted to, I could probably plan a bunch of stuff and everybody would be making it rain, okay? Within Halo Studios or whoever, if you have a Halo project, you got one of the best guys here. Okay, so now I'm going to show, here, I'll just get this off, and I'll talk about a few different things, namely the identity that's going to be the one of them of the Halo franchise. You know, what I think went wrong and what I think creative brainstorms that would fix it. Hold on 1 second. Trying to make it both funny and actually important, because that's the point of the games. The games are fun, by the way, so they can be all serious and crappy either. It's gonna be stupid if I do that. All right. All right, there we go. Magic whiteboard. Okay, kind of looks like a hologram, like the AIs. And no, they don't really have a lot of AIs. The only AI is Cortana, as far as I understand. Who is good, not evil. Anyway, go. That Halo games franchise. All right, check this out. We'll start simple. Look. So I'll read it out for you. Halo games franchise, but it's basically a whiteboard with the intention of creative ideas and strategies to improve the series. Okay, we got questions, and then I want to get into what I have the idea to fix the problems. Okay, so here's the questions. Right, this is just off the top of my head, but I'll bet you it's gonna come together. What is Halo? What's best about it? Right. Also want to get into the main character, which is Chief. Okay, we don't have to put that on there, but that's gonna be part of some of the best things. What went wrong? Right? We could do what's right too, but I want to focus on what to fix, and then how to fix it, and then that's the main ending point, which is brainstorms creative aspects and ideas to fix the franchise more and bring it up from being a basically almost like barely alive franchise, to be honest, because it was so giant at one point that the fall from grace is almost like a what do you call it? Romeo and Juliet, whoever the person who wrote that. It's almost like that writer from the past has written us a tragic story of like a game franchise that was so epically popular and cool that now like where the point that it's at is like, oh my god, this is crazy. Something went wrong here so bad that it's just either sad or we gotta move on or we gotta find ways to fix this. Okay, so. All right, Exhibit A, the games there, right? That's the Chief Collection. Those are all the three first games, and then you got ODST. I can get into that as well. And then you got Arbiter and Chief, which is some of my favorites pairings of the games. Okay. What is it? All right. Take a look at what it says right there. Okay. Because we're going to start out with this. What do you think Halo is? Right? Because I think people are getting this confused. I don't think they even know what the hell they're making when they're making it. Okay. What is Halo? Games franchise. Right there. Games. Okay. We're going to start there because it's a very obvious one. All right. What do you think it is? Right? You've got other things, right? You got other media franchises, right? Let's say you've got Marvel, right? They make movies based off of comics, or they make comics. You've got movies, you've got whatever else it is, right? You got shows, you got cartoons, yada yada, right? What is Halo? First and foremost, before anything, a game. It's a games franchise, okay? I don't know if people understand this. It's not a movie, okay? And I could get into all kinds of specifics on what it is, okay? And then we're gonna see how epically either they don't know what they're doing or how much I do, okay? So what comes before anything? It's a game. It's not a trailer, it's not a cinematic movie, it's not Star Wars. I can get a lot into that as well as the comparisons and why they're failing and not understanding what's going on there, okay? And how I can fix that. So I'll get even bigger, right? Or, more into detail. What is the Halo games? Halo is a reference to the rings, right? Which is one of the big planets in Halo. But namely, what is it, okay? What is the entire games about? The entire games is a sci-fi shooter game, okay? In the future, the main character is that guy, which is Chief, okay? I don't know if you knew this. He's the main character, okay? You're not changing the main character, and I'll tell you why in a minute, right? Because it's like shooting yourself in the foot with a shotgun, okay? Anyway, we'll get more to that too. Sci-fi shooter, okay? It's often a heroic shooter, meaning it's not really like GTA. You're not playing as a criminal. You're not playing as what do you call it? A superhero either. It's not a superhero. I'm telling you right now, it's not that either. It's a sci-fi shooter, meaning you're futuristic soldiers and futuristic characters in sci-fi elements, okay? It's a war game too, okay? I want to get people, they need to understand what they're doing, okay? You're like soldiers basically in a bad war because the aliens attacked the humans, okay? Then we're going to get into like from these aspects, who is your audience, okay? Because it should be obvious who your audience is when you're making a game with this type of thing, okay? Who are the characters, for example, and the story elements, and then the multiplayer, because I want to get into that too, because I need to understand this too. The multiplayer is so big and important to the Halo games. Namely, it's probably more important than the campaign. Okay, anyway. Where were we? Oh, story elements. Story elements. I'll just keep it brief for now. Okay, the main character is Chief. A lot of characters surround him. Don't get me wrong, and I do think that I don't know if they made a mistake, but they, X'd off or wrote out some of the best characters in the first 3 games, right? Okay. But Arbiter was my other favorite character besides Chief, probably, as far as some of the main story characters, who's right there, and he should be like a badass character who's involved in the games too in some way. In my opinion, the elites, right? So we're getting into the story elements. You got all these elements. You've got what you call it's a sci-fi shooter. It's multiplayer, right? Focus on multiplayer. The multiplayer is a very big focus. Okay, you need to understand this. It's a game first of all, right? Before we get into all this other stuff, this is gonna be one of the most giant points ever. They start with the games, okay? They don't start with the trailers. They don't start with all this other stuff, okay? I don't even know if this is on topic, but I just of what people are talking about, but I want to make this point, right? You're playing Halo games, okay? They don't go in, most people do not care to okay, I'm just mainly a comic fan and that's why I'm into Halo, or I'm mainly something else, right? And I want to play these games so then I can just go in and I don't want to get all the story. I want to get the rest of the story from the comic source and the books. No, F that. Shut the fuck up. No, I was kidding, right? But you need to understand it starts with the games, okay? They're the most important element. They need to be good. They need to be quality. If you make a trailer for something, it should deliver on that, okay? You understand? Halo 5, right? Oh my God, scary. You almost killed us, all right? As far as the trailer, right? Trailer for 5 and everything about 5, we're almost dead, okay? The franchise could have been gone. There's so many things that can get wrong as far as the trailer in itself, but then the whole entire thing, such as the trailer coming up with these concepts and didn't even deliver on them. like thinking that this Locke character was there's going to be some kind of fight between Chief and Locke, and then maybe some people would think that this is playable, like you're going to play as one of the characters and there's going to be a battle or something, right? And then, oh my god, there's so much wrong with that game in the story, taking away like maybe thinking of replacing Chief. Guys, there's so much I can get into on what the like how much that was wrong, and I want to explain why. Why don't we start there? All right, we'll start with some of the story before we get to the multiplayer, and then we're going to deep dive into the fix-its, right? 5. I guess we'll skip over 4, right? Because, all right, first of all, 4, let's do this briefly, right? 4 was extremely different, okay? I'm just going to be really honest here. It was so different from the other Halos, okay? What they had in those original ones, that was, you know, the style was very lacking and very different. Those games, they cared about what they were doing, the atmosphere, the music, right? The lore was simple but effective, right? And it was gritty sometimes, right? It was both uplifting, meaning like a game that, okay, you're playing as mostly the good, strong guys, the strong heroes and all that, right? But at the same time, there was darkness to it too. You had flood, you had war between the aliens and humans. You had even the aliens were sometimes fighting each other, such as the Brute and Elite. And there was funny stuff too, right? But you gotta understand that it was not just a game that was like all goofy. That there was war elements to it, right? It was like a cinematic sci-fi, you know, shooter, futuristic, right? Chief is the main guy. So before we get into 5, why don't we talk about Chief, right? Again, something that people get it wrong so badly, it's almost like dumbfounding, all right? Here, I gotta pick it right here. All right, what comes to mind to this character, right? What makes him great and what makes him one of the, at one point, right? And the whole franchise, by the way, used to be a banger, meaning like it was the face of Xbox. This was so many years ago that nobody, the only people are going to know is if when you know, you understand? Because if you weren't there and if you weren't part of the action at some point, whether you jumped in a little bit later or, you know, really early, for me, I jumped around 3, right? Halo 3 was the first one, but I got included into the Epic Extravaganza. Okay, so this character, he's not the most important part of the game, but at the same time, he is very important. I'll tell you why. Okay? He's a strong, stoic character. And this is going to get into the audience soon, right? He's a guy, Chief. You don't need to know everything about him, right? You just know what you need to know, and that's okay, and that's fine enough, right? And this is what a lot of them got wrong, right? You look at some of the way that they talked about the character of Master Chief in the old Bungies and you know, the old creators of the games, right? He's described similar to, let's say, a stoic, strong, you know, similar to like a Clint Eastwood character, but in the future, right? And the difference is like he can shoot guns, but future guns, okay? Like alien weapons, fight the aliens, whatever, okay? Number 2, right? He was one of the only ones left of a Spartan, okay? There was no other Spartans, okay? I don't know what these fuck. I'm sorry, what these guys are talking about, okay? There was only one, okay? You shouldn't be bringing a bunch more. If you're gonna bring Spartans, number 1, have a reason for it. Number 2, there can't be a lot, okay? I'm just telling you right now. You don't want to ruin the character by making him not even less special, okay? There was one Spartan, and it's the best Spartan, okay? Because he's the most powerful. And that was even said in the games and referenced for so many times. When this guy walks in, he's like a fucking giant. Okay, I'm sorry, but I need to make you aware, right? This guy can shoot the fuck out of anything. It's Chief, okay? He was trained probably to destroy any alien enemy. And everyone respects this fucking guy, Chief, right? Sorry, I'm swearing, but I want to make a point, right? You look at how the characters react, right? When they're on the good side in the Marines. He walks in, he doesn't have to fucking say anything other than everyone just knows who they're dealing with, and they do this. And you're like, oh my god, it's Spartan Chief. Holy fuck, bro. Like, that's the general right there. Okay, anyway. So, and that's all you need to know, right? Because this is where they went wrong yet again, right? They're making it all about this identity crap, and this is what people do nowadays because they're so stuck on who they are that they want to be stupid with everything else, okay? Is he white? Yes, I think so. Right. Sure, he's white, but who cares? Because I want to make a point here, right? Does it matter? No, and I'll tell you why. Look at this. See this helmet? See this armor? Do you think they should be taking this armor and helmet off? Do you think we should see Chief's face every fucking game? No, you don't, okay? What about the backstory? What about him talking a lot? Should we just be like, I'm Chief, and he's gonna talk like 100 times over and over and over again? No, okay? Should we know everything about him, or should we know just enough that we need to know? Exactly, we know just enough to need to know, okay? Number 2 or 3 or whatever the fuck point I was on. Sorry, but anyway. What did the Bungie's, the original developers of Halo say about Chief, right? He's a soldier, he's stoic, he can shoot the hell out of anything, and when you play as him, you get just enough. He's almost like an armor in a way. Or in other words, right? I can spell it out for you, right? 2 things, right? Is this character larger than life? Yes, right? Because is he so powerful that no one can think like him? Maybe, right? He can just walk in and do whatever the fuck he wants, but he's a heroic character. But is he also relatable? There you go, okay? Why? Because he doesn't say a huge amount, and because even though we know that he's white, probably, he's white, right? But we don't need to see that. We just know and it doesn't matter, okay? I'll tell you why. Because I just explained it. He's an armor, okay? It's a video game, and I want to make you people understand what the Bungie people and developers understood so well that the new people do not understand. You play the game, you get just enough. There's a strong guy. That's it. He's the only one. And then these guys who are playing the game, because it's mostly going to be guys, we're going to get into that too, and boys, okay? Even though they can't perfectly relate to him, everyone can fucking relate. Sorry, but I just want to make a point here. Because there's just enough that he's both has a personality, but at the same time, his personality is also kind of simple, okay? Let's give you the fucking real here, right? It's kind of simple. He goes in, he says cool shit sometimes, and that's it. Does what he does. Anybody can play the fucking game. It doesn't matter what you are because you get enough to be both like it and relatable, okay? That's it. You didn't have to bring Locke. You didn't have to add all these characters that are different or different races just for the sake of doing it, or it's different whatever, because they were already there in the games anyway, okay? They didn't do it because like it felt like it was forced. They didn't do it because it was forced politically and they want to make everyone feel nice and special. Okay, that's actually the opposite of what these games are about. They're actually about fun. They're not political. They're multiplayer games, you understand? Right? You see this guy and this guy looks like he could be like a fucking Mickey Mouse. You understand? What do I mean by that? Meaning you have what should be, or at least once even was, a fucking, what do you call it? Front runner, like a face of a franchise. This game was the face of Xbox. Okay, now it's not. What is the face of Xbox? I don't know. They don't have a face anymore. It's done. Well, like unless they get me somehow involved. Okay, because no one else is gonna either knows what they're doing or is gonna fucking care. All right, number 3. Wherever the fuck number I was on, sorry. What went wrong? I just explained a lot of it. Now we're gonna get to the multiplayer, right? It's just so much gold. You know, people should be like taking their pocket checks like right now. Okay, like, oh my God, where is this guy? We're gonna get his number. We're gonna start paying him $100,000. Okay, what went wrong? Before that, we're gonna get into the multiplayer. Multiplayer is, hold on. There you go. Look what I wrote. Halo multiplayer is important. It's extremely fun. Okay. And guess what? Halo equals MP more. What do I mean by that? Guess what? For all the lore, and don't get me wrong, the stories are great. Okay, we want good stories. We want them to be depth, meaning like they have something and meaning in them. Just as much as we want really cool cinematic music that is sci-fi inspired within the games and the stories. But guess what? The multiplayer aspects are more important in Halo. There you go. I don't know if you understood that. I can get into so much detail for that. It would blow your fucking mind, and you'd probably be throwing me $100,000. Okay, we're gonna get to that now. All right, it's a game, sci-fi shooter first, right? Sci-fi multiplayer-based shooter. There you go. Okay, I don't know if you understood this. I hope you do, which is fun. Okay, when they play the games, you want both elements. Okay, you want competitive elements, don't get me wrong, right? You want these where people can go in and they can play competitively and they can have fun beating the crap out of each other in the game, shooting the F out of each other using snipers or whatever it is, all the weapons. Again, part of the lore is just simple lore, like such as the names of the weapons, the names of the vehicles, and all this bullshit, right? And then you've got the two simple versions, which is the human versions and the alien/covenant versions, okay? But the point is you need both. Okay, you need fun basically. You need, in other words, casual modes, right? Custom modes, map creation, what else? Social games, right? All the ones that are popular, all the ones that made the game a staple. Slayers, oddballs, whatever the crap, you know, smack balls, when they count the ball, which is more like a skull, and you smack people with it, right? Hammer ball, no, I'm just kidding. Shooters, big team, all this crap, all right? You need all of them, pretty much all the good ones. You can take off a couple ones that are no good. You need snipers, you need shots, all of it, okay? You need communicative elements, all right? Where's the pocketbook? It better be here at this point, right? Communicative elements to the multiplayer that is going to get people hooked, that they want in a good way, not like they're stuck playing it, but like they're like, oh my god, this is so much fun because we're playing with each other, right? And all this crazy shit's going on. You're blowing up in the game. Throwing fucking you know, banshees at each other. I don't know, something stupid, right? But it's crazy, right? It's so much fun because it's ridiculous and it has, like, what do you call it? Shooter elements, but also a physics engine, which is fun. Okay. Then you got the armor. Then you got all this shit, right? See, now it's sounding better than what we have at the moment, right? Because that's what it used to be, right? You had these equipments. You had all this stuff. People could jump in, right? And for the most part, anybody could jump in. But guess what? It's two ways about it, right? This game, right? Check it out. It's both, right? It's both. I don't want to surprise people, right? It's both for almost anyone. I mean, you can jump in and you can have fun playing the shooter. And it's also, I hate to fucking tell you, right? It has a more niched audience in a way. All right, I want to tell you right now. All right, and this is where people are going to probably start fucking jumping off the video. But if you actually listen to me, you're going to know how to make money better. We got a question right here. Look, the Halo games, right, is mainly between for which type of audience? Say men or women, or we could just say male or female. All right, I think you know where I'm going with this, right? There you go. All right. Everyone just got really scared, and I'm sorry to tell you, but if you realize this, that's actually going to make you more money, okay? Guess what? It's not that women can't be included. Oh my God, people are going to get really scared now, okay? We want them there, right? And I'm going to give you a number based off of bullshit, which I think is still real, right? You ever hear of the 80-20 rule? That 80-20, all right? I want you to realize what this means, okay? It means, in my opinion, and it doesn't even have to be that number, we'll just say 70-30, but I wanted to make it a funny point, right? Who are the most people that are going to be most interested in these types of games? A male audience, okay? There you go. It just came out right there in the fucking horse's mouth. And it doesn't have to be grown men. It doesn't have to be boys. It doesn't have to be teens only. Of any of those, it's all of them, okay? It's a male audience. Guess what? It's not a racial audience either. It's just a male audience. There you go. And we can get to more specifics from that too, and how that would sell, right? How you would base us off of creating something really cool again and selling it, okay? and you play the games, you want the women included, yes, that's fine. But who's going to want to buy the games more than anyone? Do you think this is a pretty princess game? You think it's a game for you know, making political or making too serious to where it's like it's not like it's just like gross or something because it doesn't even have fun, cool action elements, right? Do you think it's a cheesy movie, right? It's not a movie either, right? All right, we're gonna get into the point now, right? And that's gonna be it. We're gonna pretty much end it here pretty soon, right? If you wanted to fix it at this point, I could come up with so much stuff that, you know, I'm not just gonna give fucking rest of it away for free. Okay, there you go. Male audience, what do? You understand that Halo games are games. The quality needs to be high. Okay, you see trailers, they need to deliver in the game, not the comic, not a fucking show. They're games first, right? What are they first more than anything? What type? Sci-fi, multiplayer, fun, shooter. Competitive elements are there, great story is there, and the lore is there. But the story and and all that is a little bit complex, but it's just simple enough to get it done, okay? And then you got everything around the presentation that makes it even better, right? The art style, right? The music should be fucking great. You should be like listening, you're like, oh my God, this is some of the coolest fucking songs I've ever heard in a game, okay? Like, I thought this was like a cinematic fucking movie with these, I gotta stop swearing, with the quality of these like cinematic sci-fi songs, the original ones, okay? And there's so much more I can get into, but these are some of the best points so far, right? What else? Before I wrap up here. The characters, right? I mean, the tone, like I said, the tone is both, right? It's mainly a little bit gritty, but cinematic, cool, fun, action, war game. Multiplayer, fun. The fun and competitive. The fun multiplayer is first before the competitive. The competitive is still there, right? Don't get rid of it. I'm not telling you that. The point is you want a skill ceiling. The skill ceiling is for the dedicated players, okay? The skill ceiling, the people who are extremely good, who are so good at Halo, they are there too. But guess what? You want everything in between. You want people to jump in. You want noobs are somewhat available to play the game. You want male people, play the game, all right? You want mix-ups, all right? Everyone's fucking here, you understand? It's mostly male, but besides that, anyone is here. The women are included too, but they are not going to want to buy the game more than the men because it's a men's game. You understand? It's for boys and men. There you go. That's about it. There's a little bit more wrap-ups here I could do. Basically, fun first, creativity first, with the ability to take your creativity and your work ethic, right, within these companies of the Halo games or whatever, and what you should be doing, right, or what I should be doing. If anybody contacts me, here's what I want you to understand, right? This is potentially, and it used to be actually, a franchise, okay? And I want to make you understand what I mean by that. A brand, a franchise, right? The likes of fucking Star Wars, okay? Almost. It wasn't that big, but it was pretty close, all right? Here's the other thing I want to get the fuck into because they get to people confused with this shit, with Star Wars, right? It's not Star Wars, okay? It's not the same thing, right? It may take elements that are similar, but it's not, all right? If anything, guess what? All right? I don't know if people are going to understand what the fuck I mean by this either. Unless you were there, right? It was both maybe inspired by and similar to and had some of the same audience, right? We're going to get really scared here right now. Watch. It could have potentially been a bit of a competitor to Star Wars. Oh my God, everyone's fucking scared now. Guess what? You know what that means? What you should be doing if you had me on your team, right? Is you would realize that here's what we're going to do. We can make references, right? Every now and then, right? We reference Star Wars, blah, blah, blah. We can reference other things in media, right? Guess what? If we're in Halo, or if I'm there, or whoever's there, I want you to come up with this idea, live and breathe what you're in, right? I don't mean by that like, oh, I'm just going to go take a piss, and every time I'm taking a piss, I'm thinking about like, hey, where's Cortana's, like, you know, right? Like, anyway, or whatever, right? Like, we're going to go beat the shit out of some Bruce as I'm, like, taking a piss. No. Here's what I mean by that, right? I mean, you should care about it, right? You're putting in your creativity, your effort, your fun. You're like, I'm at this fucking place, and this is the most cool, fun thing. This is really cool. This is fun. and I'm gonna put in things that are cool and fun. I don't give a damn, right? If sometimes there's a little bit of work to do, whether it's a little bit boring every now and then, because you're in a media franchise. Before we end, I want to stick to that point, right? What did they say, right? And I'm sorry, but I have to bring this up. It's going to really, get people mad. But do you want the ideas that are actually going to help you, or do you want blowing smoke that's going to actually make it worse and could potentially kill the fucking franchise if you're not careful, right? What did they do? Well, there was 343 Studios at the time, or now known as Halo Studios, right? Who did they hire? People came in saying, from what I heard, right, from what I remember, we don't like Halo, and but those are the people that were getting going for the jobs, right? And they got hired. Why? Why did they get hired? Okay, I don't understand. Look what you got here. Again, and it used to be competitor to Call of Duty. This is all old stuff, but I want you to understand. And then it was a YouTube sensation, right? Halo was at one point a YouTube sensation. There you go. This is it. I'm making the big fucking point here at the end, right? Number one, if someone comes in and says something like, okay, I want to work here, but I don't really like the franchise. I don't like the games or whatever it is. Like you're going to a company, let's say it's Apple, right? Oh my God, right? And let's just say you go in like, I'm doing this interview, but I don't really like Apple. I'm just doing a joke here, but I want to give you a point, right? And I kind of think they suck, actually. Like, I actually like Android way better. I like all these other things way better. I don't really like Apple, but I just thought it would show up here like, I don't know, maybe I'll just fucking like put in a little bit of effort and that's fine. I don't know. Because I don't think it's very good. I don't think Apple's good and it's not in my favor. I would never say that, right? Okay? But imagine if someone said that. What do you think would happen? Here's what would happen, right? Why are you here? Right? It's time to go. Like, why, get out of here. Okay? There you fucking go. Okay? So how would I handle this if I've seen that, right? One of two things, right? Someone comes in and they say, I don't like your franchise, but I want to work here, and I know like nothing about it, and I want to come in here and change it and make it worse, right? Here's what you need to do. One of two reasons. We could do the one which is nicer and kinder, right? Number one, right? If you don't like it, we gotta find you a way to like it, right? But really that's more on you, right? We want you to be excited about it and to put in something that's cool and great. And even if you don't like, if you're not like perfectly like it, if you like the other things, we at least want you to come in and give you a good spin, right? Because you have to like it at some point, because that's gonna give in your best work, right? You don't want to put into work into something thinking that you're not gonna like the work you're doing, right? And you don't enjoy it, okay? So that's option one. Option two, I don't see why you're here, okay? You don't like the games. You don't like this type of thing. You don't like sci-fi shooters. You don't like the style, right? You don't like multiplayer games. You don't like games that are for cool dudes and women and girls can be included, but it's mostly for like, hey, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna go do cool stuff. If for the games, for the people who play it, right? They just have fun, right? They have both co-op and they have single player and they have also like versus multiplayer. The versus multiplayer though is also, even though it's really competitive and you're kicking each other's ass, it's still fun, right? Imagine like a game like you're on the maps and you're shooting each other and you're switching up guns and you take the sniper and then this fucking guy gets you and then you shoot him back with the sniper and you start switching shit up and you're like, hey, we're gonna switch with the swords, and you start having sword battles, right? And all this crazy shit, right? And even if you're beating the shit out of each other and even if you get mad sometimes, but at the same time it's competitive and it's fun and you're actually enjoying kicking each other's ass or being on the team with each other and you're having fun beating that crap out of the evil aliens, right? Does that sound like something for you? Because if it doesn't, why are you here? There you go. All right, case closed. You know what to do, right? 100,000, not really 100,000, right? But you know what I mean, right? Right? You should be contacting me or I should be contacting you. I know what I'm talking about, probably more than most people ever, right? And then there's so much more I can get into, right? The YouTube sensation of what it once was, right? Because it was. You ever heard of the machinimas and all this stuff, right? What you need to understand though is it starts if you are in fact working with the Halo games franchise in some way, which is a game. Again, like I said, that comes first, okay? Everything is drawn off of what you're creating here, right? Now, I'm not saying to close people up. I'm not saying to say, oh, we're going to cut ties and we're not going to like help people who are within social media or YouTube. What I'm saying is it starts here, okay? And then they help each other. They help each other, right? They're boosting each other up. And then everyone fucking wins so bigly, but it has to start with the actual media creation itself. That's going to be pretty much it for this one, right? I can name so many names, such as Bint, what is his name? Mint Blitz? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. All right, you know, I mean, some of the YouTube people, some of the guys who are actually real fans, what I think of them, like what I think they contribute, what I think they should do and not do, what I think, where does this all start? And not only that, more ideas, right, of fixing it, because this is a lot of this was addressing the problems and where they went wrong, right? But one of the big things, right, like I said, fix all this, make it multiplayer first, make it a guy's male game, make it fun first, have the competitive elements, right? The microtransactions, no, I'm not saying you got rid of them, all of them, right? But here's what you need to do. You need to start making them a little bit less, right? You don't have to get rid of all of them, but just take a little bit off, just a little bit, right? Add armor, add things to do, add fun things, right? Make it basically like you're earning the fun stuff too. You understand? And the cool armor, right? I don't want only armor in these games to where like, you know, like you're talking with people online on the games and they're like, how did you get that armor, dude? And then they're just like, I bought it. Real money. But what about that one? I think I bought that one too. Wait, what? Wait, that's not how it used to be, right? What about this other stuff? Where did you get these maps? Where did you get all this cool stuff? The goggles, you know, the epic armors. Oh, those microtransactions, right? Because you know what they used to be, right? Challenges in the game, play the game, right? Which makes it more interesting, right? Because whether it's a really hard thing, which is like a really cool armor to get, which is super hard, and then only some people have it. Like there was those once, what was it, fucking Hayabusa or whatever, and then Recon, which is extremely hard. Nobody fucking got it almost, right? And then you have everything in between. Do a challenge, start getting points, right? What you need to understand is you need to create the game based off of interest in the game and fun in the game. It's a fucking fun media, okay? It's not a job, right? The job, if you're at the job, then yes, you're at the job, right? But you're creating a media that's gonna be a thing to do, not all the time, but just enough of the time. So when you're like, okay, I'm off of work today, or I just came home from college or school, and now I'm doing Halo, and that's it. You jump in, extremely fun. All right, that's gonna do it for this. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Right? If I really cared, I would look up this company, and they would realize that they have a franchise media player who can extremely make them giant. Again, it was giant before. If you want it to be giant again, you know who to go to. Okay. Last point. What was it? Oh, everything surrounding it, everything surrounds the games. Just because everything surrounds the games doesn't mean there can't be more later too. You understand? Because there could be, but it has to sell. It has to go around this. Figures, comics, other stuff, props, armor. Guess what? That's fine. If you can make it good, you can make good. But it starts here, and that's what you need to understand. That's what I think. You understand? Compare myself to, let's say, what's his name? George Lucas, right? A giant fucking thinker who thinks about not just the small stuff, but the big picture, right? That's going to do it. If you don't fucking have your checkbooks out now, I'm just joking, but at the same time, I'm not. And if you don't have, like, trying to find my number, you know what to do. And you know, either I don't know what's going to happen, right? I don't know if this franchise of games will fail completely. Hopefully not, because guess what? The last point I really wanted to make is go look at, all you have to do to see if people like your stuff is look it up. I'll tell you right now. Look at this. It says, time to be honest. It says, Halo's become a joke. Best multiplayer. Okay, hated. Everything someone hated. Remember Halo. There you go. That's it. You know what to do. You know who to contact. There might be a lot of people who still like it, right? And maybe I'm one of them, potentially, maybe, right? But guess what? Not only is it not what it once was, you've seen how bad it can get with the opinions of the audience and customers that should be loving and buying it. There you go. That's the mic drop moment of today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this next level presentation by Wise Bonds. And you know what to do. All right. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in a franchise player, conglomeration / business creative strategist role, position, or ability to create generational wealth, basically based off of my input and ideas and creativity and technical know-how, which can create exceedingly much bigger, success than they're having right now. So much more that it would be insanity in the best of ways. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you next one. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you. Thank you, because I'll see you in the effing next level.